Hey everybody, how you doing? My name is Kelly Cook, and I am a real agent. Been a real agent now since October of 22, so a little over a year. And I'm thrilled to be coaching it's and teaching a class of anything because I love to coach. So this is awesome that Real has a setup to where you can actually do that, right, and actually be rewarded for it at the same time. So best of both worlds. So I want to thank you, everyone. I will not waste your time. I talk fast. And if you have any questions, you can by all means put something in the chat or raise your hand, and I'll do my best to pay attention and look at that and make sure I don't miss anything. So guys, thank you again for being on our topic here today. I'm going to share my screen so you can see the slide deck. Okay. So let me share my screen right now with you guys. And then and let me go to presentation mode. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, boom. Okay. So here we go. We are talking about today, everybody, we are talking about Facebook and Instagram promotion system, and we call this 201. Okay. So like it's the old college course. It is the old college course. It's like 101, 201. So we have basically two courses on Facebook and Instagram advertising for paid ads. And one of them is about listing advertising. Okay. The other one is about content promotion. So one thing I love about Real is the fact that they are all about, social media and encouraging people to get on video. That's obviously the new currency in today's real estate market. And so in doing so, you only have so much reach when you are promoting whatever you post on Instagram, Facebook, etc. Organically. With paid ads, you can now get additional reach that you never had before because of the fact that you are going to pay them, and Facebook loves to take your money, and they will promote your post to more and more people. So how do you do that? We're going to discuss that right now. So without further ado, let's kind of dive right in. All right, so you can see my screen over here, the Facebook Real Academy Instagram promotion system. And let me say one more thing, and I'll get rocking and rolling. We have 101 and 201 for each course. So again, listing advertising, and the other one is content promotion. But we have a 101 and a 201, and a 101 and a 201 for each course. This is the 201 for content promotion, as you can see by the title screen right here. So here we go. Okay, so about me real quick. As I mentioned, I've been real for a while here, a little over a year. Husband, father, Ironman. I enjoy anything that challenges you. There is a great book out there on the sidebar here, if you have a chance to read it, that I recently came across. Didn't really know about this book. In fact, I think it was just published maybe just a year or two ago, but it's called The Comfort Crisis. The Comfort Crisis. If you have a chance to get that in audio or on the regular paper book, I would recommend to do it. It talks about a lot of things that are great, so I will not spoil it for you. However, it does talk about just that, the comfort crisis, how people need to get out of their comfort zone more and more, multiple times throughout, let's say, a given year or a month or a week to do better things. Why? Because you're more creative when you're out of your comfort zone. You are able to think about what you're doing. Think of those ideas to post on social media. Think of that system you need to build for your business. Think about how you serve a client better, whatever it may be, but you need to challenge yourself. And one way I do that is through the whole Ironman thing, which I love to do. Former college player, football player. And guys, I should put on here too. I just realized I didn't put in my bio. I'm a former NFL agent as well. So if any of you guys love the NFL, love football, I am a former NFL agent, was a licensed NFL agent for 5 years. Back early in the 2000s, okay? Late 2000s, I should say, for 5 years. So that was a good experience because the fiduciary is very similar to that of a real estate agent. Your fiduciary is to your client, the football player. The fiduciary here is to your client, the home seller or buyer. So they coincided very well. Team leader, we're on a team here in Scottsdale, Arizona. So if you have any referrals in Scottsdale, Arizona, by all means, please keep us in mind. We'd love to help you and make you guys seem like rock stars as an extension of your team, wherever you are. And I've been doing this for 18 years, selling real estate full-time for quite some time. We do a little over $100 million every single year. Obviously 2021, everything was inflated, but we did over 230 million in production that year. Investor as well, coach at heart, and a entrepreneur who loves to dabble and start new things up all the time. Some of you guys can relate. I know. All right, moving on. Enough about that. All right, here's the structure for the course today. It will be easily within 45 minutes. We'll have some Q&A time at the end. If you guys have any questions, please put them in the chat or whatever it may be. Oh, I see Samuel, for which team? Oh, okay. They said, that's awesome, Katie. Go Birds. So I'm assuming go Birds. Eagles fan? Philadelphia Eagles? Looks like an Eagle. I don't know. But I was an NFL agent for players. Just so you know, guys. So an NFL, every single player out there, not every single one potentially, the vast majority of them have representation with an agent, and that agent negotiates contracts, injury reserve settlements, all kinds of stuff, right? Marketing deals for that player. So when you're an NFL agent, you are the agent for that player. And so they could be on the Eagles one year, they could be the Broncos the next year, the Cardinals the next, right? And so you're just with that player. That's who your client is. And you're on a contract. Now, the NFL Players Association governs the rules and all this. And what's interesting is you're capped at 3%. Many other sports, you can actually charge more than 3% of the player's contract if you can or will or have the value prop. But in NFL, it's capped at 3%. Interesting, right? And they're not guaranteed. Samuel says, "Fly Eagles fly." LOL. Yeah, name. Okay, yeah. All right. So let's see. This was the best player. One of the reasons why I'm probably still not an NFL agent is because I never got the Peyton Manning. I never got the the Patrick Mahomes. Unfortunately, otherwise I probably wouldn't be talking to you today, to be honest, because I love football and that's my passion. If I could have made that work, I probably would still be doing that at a high level. But I couldn't. It's tough profession. The highest player I represented was Tim Atchison out of Baylor, who was a 7th round draft pick. That was the highest player I represented. Everyone else I represented over the course of 5 years was priority free agents. They drafted late in 7th round or priority free agents where they got into camp. So Ty Steinkuhler was another one. Chris Brooks would play for the Colts. Ty Steinkuhler played for the Jets, D tackle. And then I did total of about 8 different players over the course of 5 years, because it's tough. You can only sign up clients one time a year coming out of college. So it's kind of interesting. All right. So I appreciate, I can talk football all day long, guys. So I'll stop because I know that's not what the course is about. But I thank you for the people who are participating and asking questions. All right. So here's the overview of this course, guys, on Facebook ads. If we could figure out how to work Facebook ads into football, I'd probably do that too, right? But I got to think about that one, I guess, right? Overview of ads, targeting, retargeting, audiences, lookalike audiences, pixels, Q&A, and then what's next. So again, this is 202 for content promotion. So this is, as you can tell by the table of contents here, this is primarily a retargeting, higher level targeting, retargeting course, which is huge. Okay. And we'll explain why. Here we go. All right. So overview of ads. Why should you run listing ads? Okay. Now this is the content promotion, but this is still, there's some overlap here, right? More exposure to your content, way to capture more leads, clients or agents. Maybe you have a funnel to attract agents to your team. Okay. Easy to do and low cost. Great collateral to send to your seller clients. Why not? If you missed our other 3 classes, go back and watch those, right, on Real Academy. The first 2 are listing ads. The last one is also content promotion. But this is an ad here. You can see right here. This is a class I was teaching to some local agents here in the Phoenix area, Scottsdale area. And here it says, I know. All I talk about is real estate, but that's because I love what I do. One of my greatest joys is helping others. And then you get to click see more to read the whole caption. But the whole point was I was teaching a class, took a video, and then we posted about that. And that can go on multiple different platforms and then be repurposed. Now, when I posted about it, it only went organically to a certain amount of people, right? However, after that reaches up, right? Because it only shows it to so many people. Then we took it and we promoted it through paid ads. So that same post in this one example got more and more exposure because we were paying for that exposure. So it's kind of cool, right? Next one here, guys. Okay, targeting versus retargeting. All right, this is important. What is targeting? We're gonna start there first. And I got some screenshots here so you guys can look at it too. Targeting is where you try to find new audience members to work with. Okay, that's pretty self-explanatory. If you have custom audiences, you'll exclude them here, and we'll talk about that. Talk about why. You can target the whole US, which is awesome, or select cities or destinations. We select specific cities to run our ads, typically ones with migration patterns to Arizona. So guys, there are two things we track. And I think this is smart. I mean, maybe it's not that smart. I think it's smart, but you're the judge on this. What we do is there's data out there that you can go to and you can collect and you can get that shows which county or city across the country is responsible for the most population migration to your city and the most wealth coming into your city. Now, if you knew that data, and there are certain cities across the country that were responsible for that wealth or population data coming into your city, wouldn't it make sense to spend your hard-earned dollars on your budget marketing in those cities as opposed to just generically across the US? I think it would. And so that's one thing you can do to try to make sure you're targeting the right or the best type of people or audience. Okay. You can also add, in detailed targeting, which will target people with specific interests, i.e. Zillow, Realtor.com, and more. So for example, I'm not sure if some of you guys are aware, but on the back end of Meta or Facebook, right? There's all kinds of behaviors and interests. So if you look at the audience right here, you can see just a little snapshot in the housing market objective, okay? Because we're in housing here. You can see what you have access to. So here's create new audience or use the save audience if you already have uploaded somebody, right? They store your audiences in a spreadsheet for you on your account. You can exclude certain audiences right here. All right, age, what you can do 18 to 65 plus. You can do all kinds of different age groups. You can do gender, men and women for some reason, right? And then you have behaviors and interests, which are awesome. Because guys, on social media, people tell you by their behavior in terms of what they click on, what they like, what they favorite, etc., what their interests are. And now you can take that and use it to your advantage, which is pretty darn cool. And the one thing, as we talked about in the last bullet point here, you now can take all those people with that criteria set, and let's say there's 3,000 people, and then say, out of those 3,000 people, I want to target the people who've been looking on Zillow, or just Realtor.com, or just Homes.com, or all of them combined in my city in the last 30 days. And I guess that 3,000 will then go to 642 or whatever it is. And then you can now hone in your budget to really hammer those 642 people. It's pretty cool. Okay. Targeting. Who do you want to see your ads? Very important because you only have a certain amount of budget, right? We're not Anheuser-Busch. We're not, Geico. We're not these companies that have these mass amounts of budget money here. When you decide to target new clients, keep these things in mind. What are they interested in? What do they currently do? Okay. Very simple. No additional steps are needed to target new audience members. That's nice, right? Make sure to exclude your custom audiences. You don't want to rerun it there at this point, if you have any, so you are not you're spending money, targeting them by accident. You don't want to spend money on that. You want new leads in targeting. Retargeting, just the opposite. We'll cover that in a second. Targeting, you want new leads. In this case, you may want to select things that interest other realtors if you want to grow your network of agents. So again, guys, you can have two different audiences, right? You can have audience for attracting clients, buyers, and sellers. You can have another audience for attracting agents to your real estate team. Or if you want to grow a real estate team because maybe you don't have one currently, you could do that. Okay, and that will expose yourself to them, which is great. You can see in the screenshot over here, special ad categories. We just talked about this housing. Obviously, you will choose housing. This is the business we're in. There's other categories you could choose that actually have more criteria sets you can choose to target. But housing, because of a lawsuit passed or settled on Meta with DOJ and whatever else, for, quote unquote, discrimination practices, they had to limit the amount of things you can target with the housing category. And this happened, 4 or 5 years ago or whatever it was. Okay. Performance may be impacted. Up here, you see evolving changes within the ad ecosystem may affect your performance or reporting. Okay. Yep. Audience definition. Your audience selection is fairly broad. They'll tell you if it's specific or broad right here once you put it in. And so here's just an example. People who match these interests. You don't have to do any of these, but this is something you could do, right? You can do some of them, all of them, your choice. House. They're interested in houses. That might be a good idea. Mortgage calculator. People click on that. They're probably thinking about buying a house. That could be a hint. Keller Williams, because maybe you are wanting to bring agents over from Keller Williams to your team because maybe you have a good value, better value proposition. Property Finder, first time home buyer, the list goes on and on. Redfin, Trulia, single family detached home. There's all kinds of things, guys. You get in here and start typing things in. It's crazy the amount of behaviors and interests that you can actually target, which really, really helps. Okay. So, there's different brokerage brands too, right? Because people put in their profile, I work for Coldwell Banker. Okay. So now now you can target them. It's awesome. You just have to have a little bit of money and some know-how on how to do it. All right. Next slide. Retargeting. Okay. Retargeting. This is level, this is like 302, honestly, retargeting. And this is what you want to do, guys. If you're not retargeting, you are missing the boat. I'm telling you, let technology work for you in the background, and you don't have to have a big budget. Obviously, the more you spend, you should have the proportional result, but you don't have to. And just get that message out there, $1 a day, $2 a day. And put it out there. So here we go. Retargeting. What is it? Retargeting is where you select a very specific audience of people you already know or have worked with, or people who have already seen or interacted with your business, typically your database. That's a great way to drip on your database. Again, we talk about all the time, the buzzword, what's your 36 touch plan, or what's your touch plan to stay in touch with all your past clients, or maybe just the leads that haven't closed a deal with you yet. And there's all kinds of different ways you can skin that cat. I could do a whole class on that because we have a pretty robust 36 touch plan, and it's more than 36 touches. However, this should be part of it. This should be part of it. And you don't have to do anything except set it and then obviously look at it ideally once a week to then see how it's performing. Maybe you increase the budget. Maybe you take the ad down and you put your budget into another ad, and so on and so forth to see how your analytics are doing on the background. Okay. But this is where you'll select your custom audiences right here. You'll see the red circles in the screenshot. Maybe it's an agent list from your title company. Okay. Because we get that question all the time. Kelly, where do we get that list at? Well, you can buy it from Brokermetrics. You can actually buy Brokermetrics if you want, or you can just get it from your title company, most likely for free. And then you create the list of people you want based upon, whatever it may be, their production, how many units they closed, their years that they've had a real estate license, all these fun things you can do if that's what you're trying to do in terms of agents to recruit to your team. Okay. Maybe it's your entire downline in real. Okay. You can target the whole US or select cities, destinations. You can also add details targeting, we talked about with Zillow, Realtor.com, more. So if you look over here on the screenshot, I always I'm a visual learner. So I always like to put screenshots in here. And hopefully you guys can get that. Because when you go into the back of your Meta account in the business ads manager, you will see these exact same things. So up here, this red, create new audience, and then this red circle, use the save audience. So retargeting, we're going to use that saved audience. You're going to take, for example, a export of a spreadsheet from your database. If you use Chime, or now it's called Lofty, right? That's a new rebrand for Chime. Or maybe some other database. Like we still use Sync on my team. We've had it for a long time. Still use it, Commissions Inc. It's a big one, but Chime is pretty darn good. We're probably gonna make the switch, honestly, pretty soon. But nonetheless, you download that spreadsheet, and then you upload it into your back end of Meta. And now you have a saved audience. You label a certain title, and that's saved there in your account, which is awesome. You can always access it. Now, you may have to update it every quarter, every month, every 6 months, your choice. As you put new people in the database, you want them to be obviously retargeted too in a perfect world. Custom audiences, exclude. You can exclude if you need to. In this situation, you probably want to just use that one custom audience you're focusing on. Search locations. You could do that. And again, you can put zip codes in, drop a pin, all kinds of fun stuff, guys. It's really, really, really cool. It really is. You can geek out on this stuff. Retargeting again here, reaching back out to those you interacted with before. We just talked about that, but who you worked with in the past that would find value in these ads. Again, past clients, you don't want them to forget about you. And I tell people all the time, this is a little nugget in my opinion, guys. But I'm very honest with past clients because it can be kind of awkward, right? Let's be honest. It can, especially if you aren't like good friends and going to hang out with them or whatever, right? Throughout the years. So I tell them all the time when I call them for a 36 touch plan call, let's say, right? Or maybe it's an invitation to a client event that we're doing. I say, look, Jim, I appreciate you, makes a small talk. And I say, listen, all I'm trying to do is walk that fine line of not being so bothersome that I get annoying, but yet making sure I at least touch base with you enough to where you don't forget about me. And it's different for every client. I get it, but that's all I'm trying to do as your real estate agent. And dude, people relate to that. You disarm them by saying that. I'm telling people, it's like, oh, okay, I get it, because I'm not your insurance guy. I have a reason to call you every month if I'm an insurance guy, because you're paying me every month. Financial advisor, same thing. But we sold a house. I don't need to talk to you, Kelly. Why are you calling me? Right? I just sold a house a couple of years ago. I'm good. We're going to stay there for forever, whatever. I'm just trying to walk the fine line of making sure that I don't bother you. At the same time, you still hear from me every once in a while, so you don't forget about me, because I'm always here. If you have any questions about real estate, or if you know of anyone ever looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, that I could help. And people really relate to that. Just be honest with them. Okay. Now with retargeting, you don't have to worry about any of that, because they're going to see your ad of something that you're doing, content promotion, or maybe it's a new listing you're advertising, and they're going to see it in their feed, and they're going to go, wow, there he is again. There he is again. Man, he's selling another house, or man, he's just posting about stuff. He's out there doing whatever he's doing. Wow, it's pretty cool. He's active. So this is a great way to do it. And it doesn't take any manual manpower, right? If you will, you pay a little bit of a budget, you set it, and then just look at it here and there as it's rolling with the ad. Any list, here we go. Any list that you can have can be uploaded as long as it's a CSV or TXT file. There are other ways to add custom audiences, but this is generally what we use. Database lists, our farm, okay? Facebook and Instagram followers. So we have a farm. I do entire zip code here in Scottsdale, and I love it. We sell a bunch of real estate. In fact, no one has sold more real estate in a zip code the past like 5 years than us, because we just hammer it. And this is one way we hammer it, besides a mailer. Like we do a mailer once a month too, right? With all this data and that kind of stuff. But we choose our farm specifically. So how do you get the emails for your farm, Kelly? Because the email is what cross-references the custom audience, right? Correct. We get it from Cole Realty Resource, or we get it from our title company. Those are the two sources, or Black Knight Data. One of those three sources, really. Okay. And then we're going to get maybe out of the farm, guys. If I'm honest with you, which I always will be, we probably have 30% of the entire farm, because it's hard to find cool people you don't know their email address sometimes, right? But we have about 30%, but we still upload that as a custom audience, and we still retarget them. So they always, we're omnipresent to them. They get our mailer, they get the Facebook ad, and they get an email from us as well. And the email, what's the email say? The email says, it gives a copy of the digital brochure of our report that we send out to them in the mail, in their email. So they're seeing it from all different mediums. Okay. And then Facebook and Instagram followers. People who like us and follow us, we make sure that we take that information and we retarget them, because that's the easiest thing to do, because Facebook and Instagram already has their data. Okay. Over here, Ads Manager, you can see audiences right here under the right under the ads reporting. You can click audiences and get started setting that up. Next slide. Audiences. How to make your own audience. In Meta Business Suite, you'll want to find the audiences button, like we just showed you. Okay. On the left side of the screen, this is where you upload your file. Do this before building out your retargeting ads. Okay, right here. You can always go back and add your custom audiences, but it's easier to start with audiences. So guys, Facebook will create an audience for you. And that's what you're doing. We're going to hit lookalike audience in just a second. But audiences do expire. They expire after a couple of years. But it's best to keep these up to date. Set a monthly reminder, like we just talked about. You should go in there and do a monthly, okay? And update your database too, like we just talked about. And if you're doing this monthly, you should probably do the update of your database monthly as well. Why not do it all at the same time? Set it on the first of the month, repeat it monthly, and it reminds you to go do it. But you can see some audiences right here that we have in our back end. Here's our farm newsletter audience, right? And then we do an lookalike as well, which is really cool. Facebook does a really good job of that. Now, it's not accurate, it's not perfect science, but they do a good job of finding people that are just like the people already in your audience and saying, hey, you are a lookalike audience. You'll probably like this content as well. So here you go. Look at what they're doing. And then they see it in their feed. Pretty cool, right? But there's different stuff that we have going on here for our audiences on the back end of our meta. Lookalike audiences, I love this one, like we just talked about. But again, it's just as it sounds. The audience looks like your current audiences. As long as you have a custom audience in Meta Ads Manager, you should be able to create a lookalike audience. Now, here are the key. Must have at least 100 people from the same country in this audience to create that lookalike audience. They need the data to be able to make sure they're sending this to the right type of lookalike people. So you have to have 100 people. That shouldn't be that hard to do. You'll receive an error message if you don't meet the criteria for that lookalike audience. So over here in the screenshot, you just go to this aspect where you create the lookalike, and then this comes up, and then here you go. So you select that lookalike audience. You can create a new source or select something you already have going on. Location. We typically do the US because we have people in Wisconsin looking at our properties in Scottsdale, New York, or wherever, right? All across the country. So we want to make sure we hit lookalike people that are like people who already like looking at Arizona properties in those cities or states. It just makes sense. And then you select your size of your lookalike audiences. A 1% lookalike audience consists of the account center accounts most similar to your lookalike audience, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's just disclosure stuff. But there you go. That's how you set that up, okay? So I talk fast, but we're rocking and rolling, guys. I'm not going to waste your time to fill 45 minutes for no reason. Here we go. Lookalike audiences. What is that lookalike audience? Okay. So again, we're just going to run through these bullet points. Lookalike audiences are great as it analyzes the customers that you already have, and it finds people just like them that you may have not interacted with yet. You can increase the percentage of people that are included in your audience. The percentage is based off of the US population. So this audience will get big really quick. We generally keep ours at 1% of the US population, or else your audiences get too large to be impactful. 1% for us ends up being well over 2 million people. That's a lot. We can find plenty of lookalike people with a sample size of 2 million. Okay. So 1% is totally fine for us. Now, if we were going to just throw way more money at this, we could go bigger, but you want it to be impactful. You want people in that lookalike audience to actually hopefully see your ad when they're scrolling through Facebook and Instagram or the stories. So you can see up here, the lookalike audience for our farm. Okay. And then lookalike audience for people who like Cook & Associates, Scottsdale, AZ Homes for Sale. So we have two different websites. We have a lead generation website. So like say you have Chime or Lofty, and we have Sync. We have a lookalike audience for people who interact with that website. We also have a lookalike audience for people who interact with our Cook & Associates website, which is a whole different website that has to do more about just our team, what we do, how we give back to the community, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So some of y'all might have just one website, and that's totally cool. I just started this website. It's a custom website I've owned for, like I said, almost 18 years probably. So we just keep using it, and we have an IDX feed and all that stuff in there. So we retarget that lookalike audience from there, as well as the actual custom audience of people who actually go to that site. We do both. So you can see right here the audience size, 2.3 to 2.7 million, ready to roll. This example, 2.3 to 2.8, ready to roll. Okay. And that's just from the last in July and August. Okay. But we look at once a month, and because they expire, like we talked about, right? So it's very important to do that. Saved audiences. What is a saved audience? As you get to know your audience and their interests, you'll want to save this information for future use. That way you don't have to remember or re-add it to every ad set that you build out. Very important. Include interest. We try to stick with real estate interest as that's what works best for us. You don't have to, but that's what we do, right? Include locations, cities, states, or countries that you want to target. Maybe you want to target people in Hong Kong because you live in California and there's a big Asian buyer population in San Francisco or wherever you're at, right? That's something you could definitely do. The more locations and interests you select, the larger your audience will become. Make changes and adjust as needed, but make sure your audience doesn't become too large, because then, based on your budget, it becomes ineffective, and that's what we don't want, right? Okay, saved audience details. You can see over here in the screenshot. Canada, in Canada, we have a lot of people come down to Arizona who want the warm weather. And so Canada is a viable option for some cities, especially on the western side of Canada, for Arizona. You can see Scottsdale, 25 miles, Los Angeles, Detroit, Minneapolis, Minnesota, San Bernardino, Cook County, which is Chicago. So we like those areas. Why? Because we know those usual suspects are typically responsible for the most population and or wealth migrating to the Phoenix area. So we're going to focus on those places as opposed to maybe like Little Rock, Arkansas, where really nobody's leaving there to come to Phoenix, as an example. Okay. And then you have the same interest. You can see that you can do all these, or just one of them, or none of them, or different ones, your choice. There's so much to play with in the back end of Facebook. Okay. Metapixel. We're almost done here, guys. Wrapping this up here pretty soon. But the metapixel, this is how the retargeting, the cooking, if you will, works. So pixels, what are they? They are websites. They are what websites use to track user activity, which can then be used to retarget people who visit your website. Remember that pair of shoes, right, from Amazon or someplace that you saw on the internet, and now you're seeing it on your Facebook feed. We've all been there. Trust me. They use a pixel, and now they're retargeting You. So now, if the largest retailers out there in America or the world use this technology, why would we as real estate agents not do the same? I think we should. To get your pixels and set them all up, you'll need to go to Events Manager. On the left side toolbar under All Tools, if it doesn't load or won't process, try incognito mode. That can happen sometimes, okay, on your browser. But right here, you can see Events Manager, and that's where you go to go under All Tools. And then you go to Events Manager here or there, your choice, and you set up your pixel. And every pixel, guys, has a code. And then once you go and have that pixel set up on the back end of Facebook, you now take that code, you give it to your webmaster, your IT guy, or maybe if you're smart enough to, because you can figure it out if you have time or whatever, to go to your website, go to the back end and behind the scenes, right, where the coding is, and you just paste that pixel right there in the code. And now it's cookied. Anybody at that point who comes to your website will be cookied and retargeted if you have a ad with budget running on the back end of your Meta account. So that ID of that pixel now knows if you set an ad and you're going to run for $1 a day, they know that guy who just from this IP address in Minnesota that just logged into your site will know that now that guy from Minnesota is going to be retargeted for as long as you say on your ad. Most of the time, what we will do is we'll run that just because the budget can get, out of hand and we're trying to keep a budget, like marketing budget, like any good business, right? But a lot of times, most of the time, we'll do a retargeting campaign for 30 days, possibly 60, but usually 30 days. And you can end it when you set it up. You can tell it when to end it. So you don't have to go back and worry about, is it 30 days or whatever, right? And you set a budget. And based on that budget, that Meta will deliver that retargeting, that ad to that person or the people who visit your website, interact with it on the frequent basis proportional to your dollar amount you have set up and the amount of people that you're actually retargeting that visited your website. Pretty cool, guys. We love it. And I think you guys should set this up. This is very important to do. And it's a no-brainer. It's very cheap to do, and it keeps you out there to more and more people. Okay. I think this is the last slide here, guys. Meta Pixel, continued. Connect a pixel to every website you own. In fact, you can almost, if you have a landing page, it's only one page, right? Where you maybe are squeezing people for information or whatever, you can pixel just that, which is awesome. Okay. So connect that pixel, do it today. Your CRM, your business website, or any other sites that you own and that they use to send traffic to, you need to have a pixel on it. If you have a website manager, you can reach out to them and they should be able to walk you through your steps or do it for you. Or you can watch a YouTube video. I mean, everything's on YouTube, guys, right? You can repair pretty much anything or do whatever you want to on YouTube. So you can do it yourself, your choice, right? Use the Events Manager tab to see the analytics on your pixel. I'm going to say that one more time. Use the Events Manager tab to find and watch and pay attention to your analytics. Very important. To see how many clicks you have versus conversations and more. You want to know if it's working and how effective. Because guys, if it's working, why not double it? Go to $2 a day. And if that's working, double it again. Go to $4 a day, and so on and so forth until you find that sweet spot where, if you do too much money, you might have a point of diminishing returns. But you'd be surprised, guys, because people don't choose to buy real estate on a whim, most likely. But they will be paying attention. Matter of fact, I'm going to repeat this quote that Alex Hormozy at the Real Rise event said in San Diego 2 weeks ago. And it was awesome. His presentation was probably the highlight of me being there because it just resonated with me for a lot of different ways. But one thing he said is this. He said, he made a comment to the market is not easy right now. It's hard, and that's okay. This is what hard looks like. You have to do things different, and we all know that, blah, blah, blah. However, what he said is this. He goes, I'm going to paraphrase this. If it takes 3 times the amount of effort to sell that one home, whereas in the past, it just took one time of effort, right? To sell that one home. If it takes 3 times more effort to sell one home today, that's okay. Continue to do it and get it done. But know this, 10 times the amount of people are watching you. 10 times the amount of people that would normally be watching you in an easy market or a balanced market, like say 2021, that were not watching you, 10 times now are, because they're sitting on the sidelines. We call these things like pent-up demand and that kind of stuff. They're sitting on the sidelines and they're watching. And they're watching through social media primarily because that's what everyone's on, right? They're watching through maybe email that you send out. But if you're talking about helping clients, if you're talking about giving back to charity, if you're talking about the story of that person that couldn't buy a house, now they can because you negotiated a rate buy down for them, that sort of stuff, and you post it on social, 10 times the amount of people who normally are watching you are watching. So when the market moves a little bit, and that will at some point, right? It 100% will at some point. Could be a year, could be two, who knows? But when it moves, and you now have solidified in their brain that you're the person that is making it through the tough times on social media, and because you're retargeting people, so more and more people see that content of what you're doing on a daily basis, they'll use you. They'll be ready to use you when the time comes. So that's why I think, and just one more reason why marketing, or I should say retargeting, in this situation is that much more important. Okay. Last but not least, here on this slide, Events Manager will help you also tell you if your pixel is set up correctly. That's important. As well as if there's any errors with that pixel. Keep an eye on this to ensure all systems are running as they should. You don't want to waste marketing dollars if your systems aren't working how they should. That's important, right? Don't want to waste money, especially in this type of market where you want to really be watching your dollars, okay? Because the market's not super easy right now. All right, so you see the screenshot, last 28 days. This is a pixel. We just took a screenshot of one of our pixels. And you can see right here, page views, 8.3. So 8,300 page views, okay, were retargeted. That led to 56 leads, people that then ended up putting information in. And 55 of them actually completed the registration. So I should say 55 actually put their information in, but 56 clicked on the landing page from the retargeting pixel that we had of 8,300. So if you do the math on that, what is that? So if you have 56 people actually went to it out of 8,300 in this time frame, 50, what is that, guys? Divided by 8,300. Terrible at math. That's 0.006%, less 1%, right? That's okay. It's still 56 people. I'll take that any day of the week. I don't care. And that, by the way, and I wish I would have put the cost on here. It wasn't much, I can tell you, because we only do typically about $1 or $2, maybe $3 a day. That's about it, right? Every once in a while we'll go big because we'll see a trend or something, right, on something, or we think this one post I made was like super cool or more relevant. And then of course, the analytics will be the boss on that. And they'll tell you, I think it's cool, and no one watches it. Okay, well that's stupid. I guess I thought it was cool, but I guess we should reduce the budget because it's just not working. It's just not something the market resonates with for whatever reason. Okay, doesn't matter what I think. Okay, all right. Here we go. Last but not least, any questions, guys? Any questions? And while you're thinking, if you have any, this slide right here says what's next. Again, we have 4 classes on this, from listing ads promotion through paid ads, through content promotion through paid ads, that we're going to keep doing in Real Academy. Okay, so if you didn't hear the ones that are previous and you can't find them, we're going to be doing 101 listing ad promotion in December. Okay, but so what's next? You can see meta ads basics and overview, how to create campaigns that win listings. Yep, could we use that in a listing presentation, which is huge. Structure of ads, retarget and targeting on a small level. And then of course, recap of next class, guys. So here's how you can find me. If you have any other questions or want to reach out to me, check me out on social. That'd be great. Love that. Any referrals, and I'll be sure to interact with you and comment as well when I get on there too, and see you guys on there that are following me, or if you choose to or not to. But thank you guys so much. Any questions in the chat right now? I know we commented about football earlier, but if no questions, I'm totally cool with it. Hopefully I explained it fairly well. I talk fast, but I want to keep it moving because I don't like to waste people's time, right? I'm like a high D personality. So like I listen fast too if someone's talking to me. So I get kind of weird if it's like, too slow pace moving. So Cheryl, thank you. You're more than welcome. Thank you for saying thank you. And Samuel, fly Eagles fly. I'm with you. I'm a Broncos fan, but hey, we're not very good this year. So, you guys have a good chance to win it all. And then Katie, that's awesome. Go Birds. Yep. Katie, fly Eagles fly, right? I'm with you. I got a good friend who's a huge Philly Eagles fan, right? From Philly, of course. And he loves it out here in Arizona. So he's always watching them. So thank you guys very much. I guess that's it. We'll end it right now. And I appreciate you guys, and we'll be in touch. Take care.